Hey everyone, and welcome back to part two of our program overview. I promise that this is better than most sequels, like Big Mama's House 2, which I know got a whopping 5% on Rotten Tomatoes. I hope this is more educational and entertaining for you all. In this section, we're going to be highlighting two of our three pillars here at Duke Internal Medicine. I'll discuss clinical development and how we develop you as a physician. Amy will then discuss professional development and how we help you find your and then in part three, Steph's going to walk us through personal development and all the fun things we do here as a program. So while we love to highlight the Duke family, finding your and epic traditions, the main reason you're all coming to residency is to become a great doctor. And having done my training here, I can promise you that when you finish up, you're going to feel prepared and ready for anything. So how do we get you there? First, let's discuss our inpatient care and model. So some of the most important elements of clinical competence are getting plenty of reps, seeing a diverse patient population and a wide breadth of pathology, and then gaining exposure to subspecialty care early and often. And underlying all of this is a great balance between autonomy with supervision. So I want to highlight just two important aspects of our inpatient curriculum. First is you get early exposure to subspecialty inpatient medicine, including cardiology, pulm, malignant hematology, neuro, and ICU medicine, all during your intern year, which is really important for getting exposed to these things to find mentors and to understand maybe where you want your career to head. The second is that we have the opportunity to care for patients at three different hospital sites, including Duke University Hospital, which is a large quaternary care hospital with a large catchment area and referral base, but also cares for patients in Durham right here in our backyard. The Durham VA Hospital, which is conveniently located right across the street from DUH, where we have the privilege to care for our nation's veterans, a really unique and special patient population. And lastly, we round at Duke Regional Hospital, which we call the Reg. It's just down the road in North Durham, where we gain exposure to more quote unquote like bread and butter medicine and care for diverse patients in our Durham community. So, as my predecessor liked to joke, great medicine starts with great infrastructure. Since you guys don't get a legit tour of Duke on a virtual interview day, I just wanted to highlight that this is actually a really cool hospital campus with the main campus having three major buildings. On the left here is our stalwart Duke North Tower on the left that hosts most of our Gen Med wards. On the bottom right, you'll see my home, which is the cancer center, as well as the Duke Medical Pavilion, which houses our intensive care units. And on the top right is our newly minted Duke Central Tower. That's where our inpatient malignant heme and bone marrow transplant services are, as well as the Children's Hospital, among several other services. So our program is balanced with a robust outpatient experience as well to mix in with our inpatient curriculum. And the cornerstone of this is going to be your continuity clinic, where you actually get to be a panel of patients' primary physician. So after match, you'll have the opportunity to request which one of these clinics sounds most appealing to you, and we do our very best to honor as many preferences as possible. So in the middle there is the Duke Outpatient Clinic. We call that the DOC for short. That's where I did my clinic during my residency training here at Duke. This clinic serves the or underinsured patients of our community. And it's really cool as it has a pretty robust infrastructure, including subspecialty care like endocrinology and cardiology, and also a lot of social work services to help these patients who are in quite a bit of need. On the top left is the VA Prime Clinic, where again you get to be the primary care provider for our nation's lovely veterans. And in the top right is the Pickett Road Clinic. It's a comprehensive primary care clinic right around the corner from the hospital that serves the more insured population here in Durham. So one of the best things about our program is what we call 4+2 scheduling. So that means you're on a more intensive inpatient rotation for 4 weeks, followed by 2 weeks of being on ambulatory or consults or elective time, in which you get your weekends off. So you'll get that full year block schedule prior to even arriving here at Duke. And that way you'll know exactly which weekends you're going to be free for that bachelorette party or family cabin weekend way ahead of time. And during the +2 clinic blocks, we've implemented what we call ambulatory threads for the purposes of maximizing your learning and continuity. Each half day is designated to a particular clinic experience where we match you with the same attending each week. That way, they get to know you, understand what you've learned, what you haven't learned, and that you feel more comfortable in their clinic. And during intern year, we prioritize the areas of medicine that you don't do on the inpatient wards to make sure you get exposed to all subspecialties during intern year. So that includes rheumatology, nephrology, endocrinology, GI, and geriatrics. And then as you move into JAR year, that's when we give you outpatient exposure to the specialties you've already had experience with in the inpatient world as an intern. That includes cardiology, hematology, pulmonology, and oncology. And then peppered throughout your +2 block is going to be your continuity clinic that we just discussed, flexible self-care or reflection days for your wellness, reading time, and academic half day, which I'll discuss in a moment. And then what's really cool is in your JAR and SAR year, you have the opportunity to prioritize what we call subspecialty clinic. That is a clinic of your choice where you get to rotate through all year round on your +2 blocks with a particular attending in your field of interest to gain a deeper understanding of that disease process or subspecialty and form a relationship with an attending who can serve as a career mentor. As I mentioned, one of the themes throughout both inpatient and outpatient rotations is a graduated level of responsibility and a dedication to balancing supervision and autonomy. When you get here as an intern, you really have the privilege of being someone's doctor for the first time, and that's what we want intern year to be all about. Learning the process of being a doctor, gaining exposure to disease processes, and just becoming comfortable in that position. And as you move into your JAR year, we want you to learn the why of medicine, spending more time appraising the literature and supporting our clinical decisions. And we also moved you into a team leadership role here to learn how to lead a clinical team, to how to make decisions as a team leader, and have more space for teaching and education. And then lastly, as you move into your SAR year, we really focus on independent practice, ultimately having you feel comfortable running an ICU, and help you focus your career on what's most important to you, whether that be diving into our particular disease type or doing global health, whatever is most important to you. You can focus on that during your senior development elective time. So here's just a snapshot of the rotations that you get exposed to each year. I just wanted to highlight briefly here that you can see that intern year now has exposure to the medical intensive care unit. And that was actually in response to feedback from our residents through our residency council who wanted exposure to intensive care medicine earlier. In past years, our interns would rotate in the cardiac ICU, but not in the medical intensive care unit, which was completely run by JARS. But in order to understand if people are interested in pulmonary critical care and to gain access to mentors earlier on, we decided to shift interns into the MICU experience as well as form more JAR intern teams to foster that team environment. So yep, plenty of exposure to ICU medicine, and as you move through more elective time as you go to JAR and SAR year. And lastly, although you learn a ton on the wards by seeing patients and teaching each other, we do heavily value didactic learning experiences as well, for which there are many opportunities. So I mentioned just briefly before academic half day, this is a time for all interns or JARs on their +2 to gather on Friday morning to learn a core curriculum topic from a disease expert. We have the beloved intern and resident reports at both Duke and the VA, where you get to walk through challenging cases together and learn how to dissect journal articles. And then, of course, one of our staples is our noon conference, which happens every Monday through Friday for all residents in the program, where you get delicious free lunch every day. And there's a host of different topics that we cover, from mystery cases to capstone presentations by our SARs, which we call our SAR talks, our intern boot camp curriculum, and then even an ultrasound and POCUS champion discussion. So that doesn't quite capture, all of the amazing things that we have at your fingertips here at Duke, and all the ways that will help you become a great physician, but at least cover some of the highlights. We're really excited to potentially be a part of your journey into becoming a truly incredible doctor. But I'm going to pass the mic now back over to Amy, who's going to walk us through how we prioritize your professional development here at Duke.
Thank you, Matt. And we are now going to focus on professional development, or what we like to say here is how to find and develop your and. When we say find your and, what does that mean? We know that when you come here, we have all of the tools, and you have all of the skills to train you to be an outstanding clinician. And we think about it as you saying, I am going to come to Duke and learn how to be an outstanding clinician, and whether that is becoming a basic or clinical researcher, someone who is focused on education, administration, quality improvement, global health, becoming a master clinician, community service, advocacy, or whatever you can dream about, whatever motivates you, we're here to help you thrive. Career development here at Duke can take many, many forms. And shown here are some of the examples of different elective pathways that you can choose to become a part of during your residency training at Duke. Trainees who are interested in medical education can join the GME-wide Medical Education Leadership Track, a year-long program where you meet together monthly with other trainees from around Duke Hospital who are interested in pursuing careers in medical education, learn from the experts different principles of medical education, and even build your own medical education research project. Our Learning Health Systems training program is focused in the Department of Medicine and brings together residents and fellows interested in data science and using our electronic health record to improve patient care. The training program happens monthly during noon conference time, as well as some other seminars where you learn from experts around the Duke community how to do data science projects and become immersed in either a personally designed or group data science project that at the end of the year you present to our health systems leadership. Comprehensive Introduction to Clinical Research, or ClinEpi program, has been part of the Duke residency program for over 25 years. This month-long immersive biostatistics and research design course is designed for our junior residents who are looking to build careers in clinical research and academic medicine. In this course, you're able to design your own clinical research project, present it to your group, and get critical feedback from clinical researchers here at Duke University. Most residents who participate in Comprehensive Introduction to Clinical Research then use these projects to get research support from our 2 resident research grant opportunities. The Advocacy and Clinical Leadership Track is run by Dr. Zipkin. It allows you to immerse yourself in health policy with like-minded residents, develop advocacy platforms that are presented in alternate years to the State House in Raleigh or to our representatives in Washington, D.C. The Global Health Residency Program for residents who are interested in building careers in global health and global health research. In addition to many of these opportunities, we have community engagement volunteer opportunities that are held throughout the year, whether it is volunteering in the evening clinic with faculty at Lincoln Community Health Center, teaching in the City of Medicine Academy Magnet High School, or working monthly in the Mobile Market, Habitat for Humanity, or the Ronald McDonald House. So here's something shown from our advocacy and clinical research track. You can see residents who presented last year at the State House in Raleigh. The advocacy and clinical research leadership track takes residents in their junior and senior years, cohorts them together during +2 time, where they learn and have seminars in health policy, leadership, teaching, and how to write op-eds and build an advocacy platform. And the platform is then presented, as I said, either in Raleigh or in DC in alternate years. Last year, our residents presented to the State House about Medicaid expansion. And at the time of this recording, the Medicaid expansion just passed the state budget and will become active in North Carolina on December 1st. Our City of Medicine Academy teaching project came out of the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Education Subcommittee that I and a number of our residents are part of. And this particular opportunity allows us to go into a local magnet health careers high school that's located just next to Duke Regional Hospital and teach mainly in the sophomore health careers class, various topics that are pertinent to what they are learning. We additionally have done seminars about how to become a doctor, discussing ethics in medicine, talking about various pathways through medical school, nursing school, physical therapy school with some of our colleagues. Importantly, this teaching is embedded in your workday and so it can occur during some of your +2 block clinic time. Resident research is clearly a cornerstone of our residency program, and many of our residents pursue mentored research projects throughout their time here. Our goal is that whatever you choose as your and is that we're laying the foundation for your successful future career in medicine. Our resident research is supported in many ways by our faculty. And in our program, we have a dedicated associate program director for resident scholarship, Dr. Nia Mitchell, who is an NIH-funded investigator herself. Our faculty and others support funding for our resident research projects with twice-yearly submissions. And as you can see from the data shown here, many of our residents participate in these granting processes, and our residents have the ability and the opportunity to present at national and international as well as local meetings throughout the year. This particular slide shows Dr. Shivi Chandramouli, one of our current senior residents, presenting his poster at a national gastroenterology meeting, and a flavor of some of the different projects that our residents submitted for resident research grants in the past year. For those of you with aspirations for majority research funded careers, we do have different research pathways, including our PSTP or physician scientist pathway and the unique R38 pathways here at Duke. The PSTP scholars are typically PhDs who are looking to spend 2 years of time in clinical residency, and then when matriculating to fellowship, have an additional year during that fellowship time that is funded research. Our PSTP scholars have pursued careers in hematology, oncology, cardiology, infectious diseases, gastroenterology, rheumatology, just to name a few. We have 3 R38 grants that our residents can become a part of. The R38 pathway actually extends a 3-year residency to 4 years, but embeds 18 months of research time within that 4-year pathway. Our 3 R38s are funded by the National Heart, Lung, and Blood Institute, the National Institute of Allergy, Immunology, and Infectious Diseases, and National Institute of Aging, respectively. And you can see here we have trainees that are participating in all of these different pathways. Again, our comprehensive introduction to clinical research, this 4-week elective for junior residents, allows you to really dive deeply into biostatistics, develop a research design database, learn how to manage a database, focus some on research ethics, and is capped off by presenting your personal research project to your peers and to research faculty here at Duke, give you feedback in an NIH style report so that you can make your grant even better. Our Learning Health Systems training program has been in place since 2013, and we have had over 50 trainees who have participated in this particular program. You can see our leadership team here, including myself, Dr. Mitchell, our Associate Program Director for Resident Research and Scholarship, and 3 graduates of our residency training program who now all hold larger positions within the Duke University Health System, including Blake Cameron, who is the head of our eConsult program, in addition to working for DHTS, Dr. Armando Bedoya, who heads computing and data science efforts for the Department of Medicine and is a former chief resident from our program, and recent graduate, Dr. Joanna Cavalier, who just took a position in hospital medicine and focusing in developing programs within DHTS starting in July of this year. Graduate accomplishments extend beyond Duke, including Dr. Matt Atkins, former trainee and former quality chief resident here, who now directs informatics and quality at the University of Oklahoma, and Dr. Ashley Spann, who is now gastroenterology faculty at Vanderbilt with a focus in bioinformatics. Residents at LHSTP are able to take on their own personal data science projects or join larger projects that are happening throughout the university. Global health training is also a cornerstone of the Duke program, started by Dr. Ralph Corey over 30 years ago. Our residents are able to either select the global health residency, which is for trainees who are looking to build a career in global health research. This particular pathway does extend your training by a full year, so it becomes a 4-year residency program where you're able to pursue a master's degree in global health sciences and conduct your own research project at the site of your choice from the sites listed here. And so you end up in your 4th year being embedded in that site for about 9 months of the clinical year. Many of our residents choose the short-term global health rotation, which is a 6 to 8 week rotation, again, at the sites that are shown here, where you're able to immerse yourself in the clinical environment in one of these many sites, learn from physicians, nurses, and trainees across the world about how medicine is practiced in these various sites, and really become a part of that community. Our management and leadership pathway is a 4-year program that is designed for trainees who, previous to coming to Duke, have engaged in getting their MBA, MHA, or equivalent, as you can see here. And this particular program generally started in the 2nd year of residency training, allows you to have 3-month immersion blocks in various aspects of administration here at Duke, learning and growing as an administrator. Some examples, John Yates developed a new insurance product while he was in the MLPR pathway. Dr. Adia Ross redesigned our Duke outpatient clinic. She now serves as the CEO for Duke Regional Hospital. Dr. Shah, when he was in the MLPR, wrote our ACO. He is now the head of Duke Primary Care. So there's a number of interesting and amazing projects one can take on as part of MLPR, and many of the graduates go on to take on leadership positions in the Duke University Hospital system. These are our current management and leadership pathway residents. Hubie Haywood is in his 4th year and is applying for cardiology fellowship, and Dr. Hercules and Dr. Johnson are in their 3rd years of the MLPR program. This slide just gives you a sampling of the many, many residents over time who have taken their opportunity to expand their AN through all these various programs in our residency training. Mentoring is a big part of how our residents can become successful in their many ANs. This particular slide shows the impact of Dr. Jen Reimer, former resident and chief resident in our program, who is now a member of the cardiology faculty. Even as a young faculty member, she has taken her time to mentor so many of our residents, whether it is through their publications, national presentations, or mentoring through their ClinEpi and other research grant programs. Our faculty resident coaching program allows you to interact with a faculty member who is personally paired with you over the course of your residency training. We are proud to see that over 100 Department of Medicine faculty have undergone coaching training through our faculty resident coaching program. And together with you over the course of cups of coffee or walks or going out to dinner and other times to get together, you have an opportunity to meet with your coach and talk about things that are on your mind. They are trained to help you identify your strengths and learn how to use these strengths to overcome the various challenges and stressors that can happen during residency training. Many coaches and residents continue their relationship as trainees progress into fellowship. And we have found that on both sides of the coaching team, both between the coach and the resident, these relationships truly enhance one's experience here at Duke. So coming to Duke for training is a fully immersive experience. And part of that experience is learning and growing and figuring out what you would like to do after you finish your internal medicine training. And certainly Fellowship Match Day, which occurs in late November or early December each year, is a highlight of the year for our residents who are pursuing their fellowship training, as you can see with our senior residents from last year. Many of our residents do choose to do fellowships, and as you can see, all of the various specialties of medicine are well represented in the career paths of our residents. About 15% of our residents choose careers in hospital medicine following training, many of them staying within the Duke system, but also pursuing careers in hospital medicine at various places around the country. And roughly 10% of our trainees choose careers in general internal medicine and primary care, whether that is a full-time outpatient practice or an academic practice with a research component as well. Here is our fellowship match list from last year. And what I'd like to highlight about this is, of course, we are incredibly proud of our residents and where they've chosen to spend the next phase of our careers. But it's important to see that in any given year, roughly half of our trainees choose to pursue their fellowships here at Duke, and that spans all the specialties. And the other half of our trainees are matriculating to fellowships all over the country, and give us a great opportunity to connect with them as our residents go to interview and match in the following years.